What do you got there? Can I give you a brief describe? Can I briefly describe a bride price or? Oh, can you briefly describe bride price or dowry from an evolutionary perspective? Yes, actually, I can. You know why I can? Because I just finished a book called Debt, and it's by God. What's the guy's name? Donald Graeber. Donald Graeber wrote this really great book called Debt. And in there, he goes through, like using human beings as sort of like human commodities, right? You owe X because I gave you my daughter in marriage, right? Or you owe me this amount of money because you killed my brother, right? Bride price and actually like death price also have a lot in common, okay? From an evolutionary perspective, there's two things that are involved in that. And I'll see if I can give you this as briefly as I can. The bride price is also paying because there's a belief that there's a value in that female. So let's just say for sake of argument, I'm a patriarch and I have 4 daughters. Okay. And I have 4 sons. Well, my sons are going to be marrying 4 other hopefully, in the past, we're going to be marrying 4 daughters. So there's the tribe wise, my tribe is still going to continue, yada, yada. And my DNA is going to go off into perpetuity. Now, I've got 4 daughters, and when feminists complain about how men treated women like cattle, well, it's not cattle so much as it is I have to unite my tribe with someone else's tribe. Yes, it's Debt, the first 5,000 years. Thank you for that. It's on Amazon. Sammy, will you put that a link to that in the chat? That'd be great. Because that's a really good book. I would put that on my top 10 reading list for this year anyways. But the bride price, the from an evolutionary perspective is what am I losing and what am I gaining out of this? Now women only see this as, oh man, women used to be traded for 4 heads of cattle. All right. Well, how do you come to like the conclusion that a human female is worth 4 heads of cattle? Where does that, because there's a tabulation that goes into that. It's not just some arbitrary bullshit, right? She's the uglier of the 4. So how about 6 goats? Piglet. That's not how it works. There's actually a tabulation. In fact, you can go back as far as like the law of Hammurabi, right? Or you go back to like ancient Babylon, you go back to ancient cultures, and not just like Middle Eastern or European. You can go and find this in like Asian cultures as well, where that will tabulate what the value of certain things are. There's like a commercial commodification of things. Women happen to be a part of that, and the main reason for that is because they can incubate the next generation. So it's not that a human female is really actually worth 6 heads of cattle. She's worth a lot to the guy who wants to have kids. Now, remember, a barren woman is not going to be as valuable as a fertile, productive, potentially life-giving female. And so therefore, beautiful women with big boobies and a good hips to waist ratio, they're going to be worth more than a woman who is proven barren or is thin and sickly and probably wouldn't survive childbirth. And I know that sounds, it's horrible. How dehumanizing. Well, the thing is that we dehumanize men in a different way, because because bride price is very similar to like death price. Like, you killed my brother. Now the cost of that is going to be what? We do the same thing with murder charges right now. How should a man be put to death for killing another man? Premeditated murder, or should go away for life? What's his, okay, if he's not, then what's the recompense? What's the value of a life for a life? And really that's it's a notion called lex talionis, which is the right of retaliation, right? A tooth for a tooth and an eye for an eye. Right? So like versus like. But if you can't, in the absence of that, if you want to keep one clan from coming over and wiping out your tribe because you killed some guy, the tribal leader's brother, if you can buy off the tribal leader and say, well, what's his life worth to you? We're sorry about that. We're grieving over that. And what can we give you? How about 10 heads of cattle, right? That's bereavement. How does that work? So it's really coming down, like, as far as the human condition is concerned, it's like, it's inhuman. Okay, well, that's fine. But pragmatically, what are we talking about? So when it comes to the bride price and when it comes to dowry and all that stuff, it's because the exchange tabulation takes into account the fact that that is a fertile young woman who can produce more offspring for you. What's that worth to you? So that's where it comes from.